Fuck yeah, dude. So we're murdering cats. That's what this podcast is about now.
Yeah.
We're just murdering cats who are problem.
Only when they steal your seat.
If you want to talk, you can come over and speak into the mic. It's not going to pick you up over there. That's all. That's why I'm saying. Okay. So apparently, this cat that we're murdering, his name was Lucifer when he was. Okay. Cool. That's actually a very cool name. Cool
So
name.
had he been killed, we would have killed the devil.
Oh, we missed our opportunity.
Yep. No wonder all this stuff's going on now.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Human Interaction Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton. With me today, I have a good friend of mine, Jamie Szymanski. I never say your last name, and I almost fucked it up.
Everybody fucks it up.
Szymanski. Szymanski.
Well, people feel like they have to do what you're doing right now because it's a silly last name.
Because it's fucking Polish. It's a
dumb
Polish last name.
It's 3 words shoved together.
Szymanski.
And 2 of them are
Dude, you would be a really good, the Lion's Head caps. Like, that would be a really good riddle to put under there.
I don't think kids would like that right now.
Kids? Well, we're not talking about kids, dude. Why are you giving kids
because
beer?
I feel like if kids had beer earlier, things would be a lot better for them later.
It's very true. I can attest to that.
Getting your sea legs.
I can attest to that, actually.
Jump in with both feet when you're 21. It's bad news.
Yeah.
Start around 9.
You know, I know the exact moment when at least my dad knew that I was getting fucked up, and that was when I got my wisdom teeth out. And he was taking me home, and I was just like chilling in the car, like having a good time.
You were pumped about it.
Oh, I was just like, dude, this is great. Like, I wasn't even there's no video of me like, oh my god, is this real life or whatever. Like, it was literally just me chilling in the car.
Because you have your whole brain, not just half of it.
Right. Well,
I shit on that kid just now.
I
love that video though. I do, but that's when it happened. That's when
I think my dad knew that I was partying.
He was like, "Oh shit!"
And then
I'm in for it now.
Yeah, well, and then that weekend, I got my wisdom teeth out on a Friday, and that weekend they left for the fucking Bahamas or some shit like that for a week. Just left 16-year-old me with a Vicodin prescription and an excuse to stay home from school for a week.
So they were the smart ones.
Yeah, they were geniuses. I'm just talking shit on my parents now. We're getting deep into this, dude. But anyway, Jamie is he is the front man for one of my favorite bands. And I don't say that just because you're my friend. You guys really are one of my favorite bands.
Whatever.
They're going, fuck you, dude. Don't patronize me. They're called Something Like a Monument, and that is actually the music that I have been using for my intro, which I asked Jamie about probably a year ago. I don't even know if he remembers that, but I did get permission to use that song. It's an older one. It's called Soft Spots, and I just really think it's a good intro song, and I'm really glad he let me use it because I think it adds a little bit of funk to the podcast, baby.
There was some funk going on then.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because I run into this as a comedian a lot. When when I talk to you about that song, you're like, yeah, but that's not our sound. Like, we don't play it anymore because that's not what we sound like. That's not what we were going for. And I have jokes like that too, where it's like, I really like that joke, but it's totally not my style, you know.
Yeah, that's it was at the time. I don't know. I don't know that there was even a thing. I mean, that whole EP, when you listen to each song, it's like each song could be from a different band.
That's true.
Makes no sense.
That's true. And I think that EP is called "And the Crowd Goes Mild," which I really like. No, I love that title. That's great. That's like humor and self-deprecation and all the things I like in people. Modesty.
There's a lot of sarcasm in everything that I write anyway. So
yeah. So well, let's talk about that for a little bit. What where do you? Jamie writes a lot of the songs, all the songs for Something Like a Monument.
Yeah. I mean, it's democratic. It usually starts for me, but especially with what we're doing now. I mean, there's whole ideas that were based off of like something Don had done, or Matt might write a chorus, some guitar part or whatever.
Cool. That's cool.
But it usually starts from me. Sometimes more of it than other times.
Yeah, and I mean lyrically, you're pretty much the lyric writer.
Yeah, they're not putting words in my mouth.
Yeah,
I'm not letting that
happen. So where do you tend to draw like a lot of inspiration from? If there is, one point other, I know that's kind of a tough question to answer.
I think it's just like a lot of people, just from things that are going around me, like just societal things, like the way that we as a society look at things. Now, sometimes that can be really funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's funny even though it shouldn't be. And then to step back and realize the things, how hypocritical like we are too at the same time. And then when I get really bored and I have no material, I generally assume the identity of someone in my band and write a song for them as them.
Oh yeah,
which I've done. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have an example? Like just
The Hours Believe was written about Don, for Don.
Nice, because that's a good song actually. I like that one a lot. And I think that was actually back in the day, which we all know that was a Wednesday. Back in the day when you guys had just released that EP, and I had just seen you perform for the first time at the Chameleon Club in Lancaster. That was with Seeds at the time.
Yeah, yep.
And it was a packed house, man. That was
super fun.
I knew Jeff already, who has now, I guess, left the band, or taking a hiatus, whatever, indefinite hiatus from the band.
Yeah. He's involved in another
thing,
right. And it's busy, and we have Matt now.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed watching you guys play with Matt too, because it's a different vibe than with Jeff, and it's really interesting just to see how that one switch can like really change a vibe around the whole band, and just the whole sound that you guys put together is different with those two different styles that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one. Jeff's an amazing player, amazing songwriter, everything. And I'd say when he was still involved, it was he and I who would do most of the stuff and then bring it to the rest of the guys.
Okay.
And then in him leaving, Matt coming in, that changed the way we did things. I think it gave a new life to the whole thing, really.
Yeah.
I think it was cool in that way.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a little shot in the arm, like, or maybe that's not the best way to put it, but it was change. Sometimes change is good. Sometimes
I feel like other people there was voices that weren't as loud for whatever reason when Jeff and I were domineering everything.
Because you guys, someone would come to you, and obviously knowing you two, let's say Don had an idea. Don is the bass player of the band, which I'm sure he's going to be on this podcast at some point too.
He'd be a lot more fun to talk to.
But so say he had an idea and he came you or Jeff with it, and you two obviously would just be like, "No, fuck you,
No,
Like, get out of here, you,
Definitely,
you dumb piece of shit."
definitely not that. Well, Jeff and I would stop arguing about whatever it was first, and then listen to his idea,
Right.
and then realize that none of our ideas are good.
Shit. Oh no, we gotta start over now. All right, well, that's cool. I really I got to get better at planning for these podcasts, because I do want it to be very, natural, very organic, just two people hanging out, having a conversation. But I also want to have some direction with it.
Sure. I'll give you a little showbiz advice. You never admit what you want to do better on the show. Don't do that.
Oh no,
that would be like me yelling during a song, "I fucked up."
Have you never...
I've been fucking up, but I'm gonna get better at this.
Have you never heard me do stand up before? Have you ever listened to anything in the number of shows that you've come to see?
I feel like comedy is the one area where you can do that.
Well, right.
Because anything can turn that whole thing can just turn into a joke.
Yeah. And I said this in the first episode that I recorded, a solo episode. I'm not worried about this being funny. I'm taking the same approach I've taken to comedy the whole time. I don't care. I don't care if it's funny. I just want to. I think people are interesting, and that's part of the point. Is my friends all do some really interesting, cool things. We all have our own talents, and people I don't know that well have talents too. So I want to branch out. I just want to give people a venue for their voice, an arena that they can shout into. Are you not entertained? That's the shit I want for people. I want that visceral power for them. So you did have something that you wanted to talk about, though.
Yeah.
You
I got this.
You had a.
I got this fortune cookie last night in my Chinese food, and it's a good one. Some of them I feel like you're really phoning it in. Like the people back there that are making them are like, really, I just can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I can't think of these things anymore.
For these fucking white people.
And so you'll open it up and just be like, well, the lucky numbers is actually the good part of this fortune. The fortune sucks.
69, 420.
What is my 8, 28, 436, 7, 5 playing Powerball?
Nice. If you win,
I'm gonna buy a different job for one of the fortune cookie makers.
Like who made this fortune specifically?
I'm gonna find out who
Get
made
him out
this.
of there.
I'm gonna make him the manager of Target. That's a step up. Sounds not like it's not, but it is.
Oh, it's just a very, very interesting direction to go. I mean, most people would be like, "Oh yeah, if I won Powerball, like I would like buy this person a house or blah blah blah." Like, no, I
want him to still earn it.
This is America,
I'm
goddammit.
set him up for life. What lesson is learned there?
That's true.
That some guy can win the lottery off of your thing, and you're just gonna give him a come on.
Well, he did give you the numbers, though.
He didn't know that they were the numbers.
Maybe he did. He gave you a fortune.
Well, then why didn't he play them?
It's a rule of Powerball. If you know what the numbers are, you can't play them.
Oh yeah.
It's like the universe has to even out somehow.
Here in America, we love following rules.
Yes, absolutely. The best rules. We have the best ones.
God. All right.
So
what's on here is laziness is nothing more than the habit of resting before you get tired.
So you don't think that one's phoned in? Because like
no, this is so on the nose that it scares me. This is like all at the same time. This is philosophical and this is benign.
Yeah, well, and it's humorous too. It's got some humor to it.
Laziness is just resting before you get tired.
It's preemptive rest. Yeah, I mean, if you really want to think about it, you're doing yourself a great service to be rested before you really need the rest.
Be lazy.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if I would say maybe laziness. Yeah, this rings true for me. I like this one.
Well, I'm glad that you found something to really keep you going.
Yeah, aside from that sesame chicken,
yeah,
this really is what did the trick.
I mean, you knowing the lyrics to some of your songs and things like that, you kind of have a we'll say a realistic but also kind of dark view of the world. You know, we've talked about this before. Because you did play the last time I saw you guys, you played a newer song, and it was like major chords and like upbeat and like cheery. And now I'm just spouting shit out. I know nothing about music, so I'm just guessing.
Me either.
You know more than I do, that's for sure. Like someone could tell you to play an A chord, and you would be like, okay, yeah, cool. You tell me that, I'm like, could you tell me the numbers? Can you tell me what the numbers are? So you and I mentioned it to you that like it was like, wow, that was like a different sound for you. It was a little more bright and upbeat type song. I won't say like poppy because that's definitely not the style you guys go with, but it was definitely a step away from what you normally do. Are you moving? Are you kind of exploring sounds more now, or was that just kind of like, well, this is what came out when I was writing the song, and like, what's your writing process basically?
If you're thinking of the song that I think you're thinking about, that was my challenge to myself to sonically do something more happy, not so minor and not so.
And you did say that to me when I mentioned it after you played the song. You said, yeah, maybe I think your exact words were, maybe I shouldn't play something so depressing.
But so then I just made the lyrics really sad.
Which juxtaposition is great between sound, like instruments and lyrics, and even like the melody of the lyrics. When you have this really upbeat, happier instrumentation, and then you have like a very depressing lyric and melodies. I love that juxtaposition. I love when people try to play with that.
It makes me feel good about what I'm saying. The song is actually about it's the parallel between depression and cancer.
Okay.
How both of them spread.
Yeah. That's an interesting metaphor. It's you definitely you can't say that your lyrics aren't deep, or and I hate that term. I hate when people are like, or like, especially starting to do this podcast now. There's so many times where I start talking about something, I'm like, you sound like a fucking douchebag. Holy shit! Like, what do you know, asshole? What are you trying to push on people? And actually, that's something I wanted to bring up too. Does that happen to you with music when you're performing? Because like in comedy, imposter syndrome is a big thing. Like every comic I know has suffered from imposter syndrome at some point. Just, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. I'm not good at this. Like, is that something that you feel sometimes, or that you think a lot of musicians might feel at times?
Yeah. Yeah. We all feel that way.
Okay.
I think even like I have friends of mine who, I consider on just a completely different fucking planet than me musically for the better.
Yeah.
And they do it. They go through the same thing,
I wonder and if there is a point that you can reach where that just goes away and you're just all ego. You're just like, yeah, I'm the fucking man, dude.
That does happen. I mean, that definitely happens. Look at Steven Tyler.
Okay, yeah.
He thinks he's learned everything already. Nothing against, Steven, if you ever hear this.
I have a lot of celebrity listeners. They're just waiting. They're chomping at the bit to hear this fucking podcast. So, you better do your due diligence and apologize to every celebrity ever. Okay, so that's it's just an interesting concept to me that like why do as humans
I think it's healthy and unhealthy. It's mentally not healthy, but from anything that delays complacency is healthy for your art. So if you just go around going like, I've done it, I'm good enough.
Yeah.
Well, then you're admitting to yourself and everybody that you have nothing else to learn.
And
like, I have nothing else to learn. I couldn't. And then what are you going to do? You're just going to generate the same whatever.
Right. You're not improving at all. If you think basically that's what you're saying is I think I've reached a point where I can't get any better.
Yeah.
And then once you reach that point, what are you really giving people? Because that's all of my favorite, will even comics and musicians. My favorite thing about the art forms that I like is that you can see how people progress as artists, and you can see when they learn something new, or they, for comedy, it's like, oh, that person learned how to pace their joke better. Like, just that slight pause right there, that made that joke so much better, and they learned that. I've heard that joke 10 times, and they did it that way the 11th time, and they killed it, And with you guys, I used to look at Josh and his drumming, because certain songs would never be the same when you played them live, because he was just fooling around with fills and stuff like that, and trying to like. It was a different.
He's a jazz cat, man. He lets loose up there.
Yeah, and I know he's been on some podcasts before as well, but I'd like to have all of you guys on to talk to you, one-on-one, so I can see if your stories match up. If I can pit you against each other.
I'll say what Claudia said about Josh Eppard. One of the things I hate the most about playing with Josh, my Josh,
right,
is I have to have my back towards him when we play shows.
Yeah, I do remember.
I can't watch him that much.
That's a good point, especially with.
And that was such a sweet thing to say.
Well, especially with Eppard, because he gets the big facial expressions, and he's
incredible.
He's a very active drummer. Did you hear about him recently? They had to cancel their tour. He had like a fainting spell on stage, and he has like a heart defect that he needs surgery for and shit. Yeah, this just happened like a week or two ago. He literally, during the this will break your heart as a band member. During the show, they stopped playing, and he literally goes, "Guys, I love you." Like, he thought he was dying because like his heart was skipping beats and shit like that.
Oh man!
And then he finished the fucking show. And then they canceled the tour. Like, that's dedication, and also just like, holy shit. Especially like, super fan me over here. When I heard that, I was like, oh my god, I almost lost one of my favorite drummers. Like,
oh yeah, that would have been that.
But apparently he's gonna be okay. If anybody out there is listening, I could easily. If I just said what like went on like the Coheed Facebook groups, and I was just like, yeah, we talk about Coheed for like 5 minutes, I'd have like 50,000 views, because their fans are fucking nuts, and I'm one of them. But
hungry. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you say you're hungry, or
no?
I'm saying they're hungry.
I'm saying they're hungry fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, dude, I'm getting some tacos later tonight. I can't wait to go over to Ortlieb's. Yes. This won't do the listener any good, but. Jamie is hosting. He puts on solo nights at Ortlieb's in Philadelphia. I don't know if it's always at Ortlieb's, but that's where the last two have been.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing one tonight, and we're gonna go over there a little later after this and enjoy some music. But again, won't really help you because I don't even know when this is coming out. But
you missed the fucking show.
You fucking missed.
You missed the show.
But you can always keep up with that stuff. I'll probably create like a Facebook page for this or something, and try to keep people abreast of the things that the people I interview are doing, and I don't know, maybe bring some new fans to people, to comics and musicians and all kinds of artists. That's what I want to do. I want people to grow. I want to help. I want to water your plant, baby.
I want to water you. I just went into the voice in Blue Velvet. Baby wants to I want to water you.
Oh man, I don't think I've ever watched that movie all the way through. Actually,
Look at me! Don't look at me. You should. It's a time.
Yeah, that's an interesting like film genre too. Just that weird like mind fuck. That's what I'll call it, like mind fuck film. And I really like.
I think that's
too.
what they call it on Netflix too.
Yeah,
because you watched mind fuck movies.
Right?
Sci-fi mind fuck.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the thing I told you about last time, Maniac?
No, I still haven't watched that. I did watch I've been watching this show called Black Spot on Netflix. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
And it's like French. It's dubbed in English, and it bothered me at first, but now it doesn't bother me. You can watch it with subtitles.
Okay, because that's.
But since I started and I didn't do that, now their voices are a certain voice to me. So now I can't.
Yeah.
Because if I would go to French, it would be completely different now.
Right.
And I'm like in the middle of a season.
I get that. I totally get that. That's what turned me off. You know, so many people are raving about Dark. I think you guys told me to watch it as well.
Yeah, that is really good too. But it has that same thing.
So I started watching that with the dubbed English, and I couldn't stand it because I like just the mouth motions and the words not lining up.
Well, German is tougher.
Yeah, because they have a very specific word for fucking everything.
Yeah, their mouths move like really weird too when they make, well, not weird, but you know, to make some of their words.
Those strange German people who are not American.
No.
So we don't like them.
So we don't. In fact, we make we make jokes about them, and
yeah, that's another one that I should probably check out for sure. But I didn't ask you to be on this to talk about television.
No,
did not do that. But you know, I also just wanted to, like I said, have a conversation with a friend, and it's been this really weird. We're gonna have a growing episode here, because it has been this weird experience where, I have my friends on and I'm trying to interview people. I'm trying to do like an interview podcast, but I'm still talking to like my friends, and it's a weird experience to try to like interview your friend, but then also have a really natural, organic conversation, because oftentimes the natural, organic conversation just goes completely away from the interview.
You want to still hit the fine points.
Yeah, which I don't. I didn't prepare anything for this. I didn't come prepared with questions to ask you.
It's hard to have an organic conversation when there's like a start point to it. Right.
I
think maybe that's something you learn how to do too. Like after a while, you were like able to do that. But it's like, all right, man, we're just gonna sit down and chat. Let me
press the button.
Yeah, hold on a second. Just sit there.
Give me some sound levels real quick.
Give me some checks, okay? And now, all right. So here we are.
Yeah, and the first one actually, there's like 15 minutes of just me and my friend Chris talking before I actually have the intro music, and I can edit some of this and move it around and play with it, but I don't. That doesn't feel organic then. You know, if there's too many cuts and too many jumps and things like that, you start to notice. Even though I'm pretty good at audio editing, everybody. I
will slice and dice this shit up until it makes sense.
No, just don't ask me to like do anything to the quality of the sound. I can rearrange the order of things, but like compression, gates, what is all this shit, dude?
That's why you need to have Don on this podcast.
Oh yeah, because he could definitely help me with it.
He's a fucking nerd. He's a fucking.
You hear that, bitch? Fucking nerd.
To the benefit of this band,
right?
He loves that stuff. He knows how I feel. I often talk to him about that. How like I wish I could like geek out about like mic placement and like noise gating, and like I really wish, because it would be it would behoove me to do that.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't. It does not interest me at all. I don't care. I don't care about microphones, what kind they are. what placement to better have like on the cone of the amp. Like I don't fucking care, man.
Right.
That's
a weird, like I'm in a group with some friends who are all around the country, and well, it's like a group chat on Facebook, and we've been sharing all of these, all of our creative endeavors, and these guys start talking to me about like when I was looking at gear for the podcast and everything, and they're all gearheads, man. They're all like, well, you could go with this, you could go with this. Like, I would recommend getting one of these, use this program with it, blah, 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 because you can really, like, get the right sound with it. And I'm like, guys, just let me figure some shit out first. Like,
I think some of those people, and rightly so, if I was one, I would probably be the same way. They're like, you bring up, like, the area of expertise that they have, and they're like, oh, here's my time.
Right, yeah, this is my time
I
to
finally
shine,
get
baby.
to show you all the fucking shit I know. How, and not in a negative way, but like, do you know how much stuff I've read?
Yeah,
I've been waiting to tell someone about this.
I don't know any of that shit. Like, I was basically like, can I buy 2 microphones and a recorder for under $500? Like, what? That's what I'm looking at. And it turns out, yeah, you can.
You can do
it.
now.
Yeah, you can. I gotta give a shout out to these mics. I haven't done it on the podcast yet, but I like the audio. They're Behringer XM 8500s, and they cost $20. They're not great for every application, but for this, they work fine. But that's my free plug for Behringer.
You didn't tell me this was like a corporate sponsored thing.
Oh, it's not. They're gonna sue me for using their name.
For saying their
name. I'm done.
That's
this
not
is
what
over.
Behringer is about. Mr. Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah, like I just go into the Matrix and I'm fucking I'm just bullet timing microphones flying by my face. How great would that be if I did get sued? That's something I want. That's the level of fame I want to reach.
This podcast would take off,
right?
People don't care because that's not that bad. What you said their name in the
podcast. And I told people to buy their product.
You'd have all these social justice warriors coming out, like being on your team.
Speech.
They're trying to suppress this guy. Never listen to his podcast, but this is a cause I'm willing to take up.
Yeah. Who knows what this guy says? And then it comes out 5 years later. The tape of me doing a rape joke at my first open mic.
Your career is ruined because people can't change.
Yeah. I certainly can't. I certainly have not changed at all. If you're wondering, everybody, I am still a piece of shit who makes fun of the things that really hurt you in your life, with no remorse. That's not true. That's not true at all. I have this real problem where when I'm sincere, I sound sarcastic, and when I'm sarcastic, I sound sincere, and it really causes problems, man.
I just have the one-way problem where people just never think I'm serious. I could be like, dude, the house is on fire. The house is on fire right now. And they'd be like, come on, man. You don't see the smoke. The house is on fire. You put that smoke there, man. Come on.
I know you fucking joker. Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm going to edit around that for sure. I don't know. Again, I'm not prepared for this, and my friend Jesse's going to give me so much shit if I leave this in, and he's just like, you don't have to keep saying that stuff. You've said it once, move on. So, kind of like the whole douchebag thing, where I feel like a douchebag when I talk, like, especially talking about comedy, because, people see things that happen in the comedy world, and they want to know a comedian's opinion. And I'm talking like civilians. People find out you're a comic, and it's like, well, what do you think about Louis C.K.? What do you think about Dave Chappelle?
Like, you have to be an authority on... Like, here, I'm going to ask you this tough question, then judge you upon your answer.
Right. And it's, when it comes to that stuff, it's like... or even, we'll go back in time to like the Hannah Gadsby debacle. I won't call it a debacle, but the controversy around her, because some people were like, well, that's not stand-up comedy, and some people were like, that was great stand-up comedy. And it's like, that's I'm gonna go very dudism with it and just say, like, that's like your opinion, man. You know, like, you don't have to like everything. You don't have to dislike something just because, like, it doesn't conform to what you think it should be. You can just accept things as they are, and
it's okay to disagree with someone. You don't have to make them stop doing. There's not okay. There's certain comedians I don't like, and it's really tough for me to get around this. I just don't go to see them.
Right. Or well, and that's another thing. I think there's definitely a culture now where people will, everything's on fucking Netflix, everything's on Amazon, everything's on Hulu. It's very accessible for everybody, and people will go watch. I'll reference Chappelle's latest special specifically. I think people went and watched that knowing they weren't going to like it, looking for something specifically that they could latch onto and really not like, and then write an article about it that would get a lot of clicks because they highlighted certain parts of that special without taking the whole thing in as like an entire work of art, and I'll say the same thing about the Hannah Gadsby, about Nanette. That's the one I'm talking about, because that's where I feel like some of this controversy really started, actually. And I know I'm going off on a tangent about comedy here. I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but I got opinions too, man. Because that wasn't stand-up comedy, like that was a one-woman show, and it was really good. It was. I don't want to take anything away from that piece of art by saying it wasn't stand-up comedy, just because that's the art form that she chose for the beginning of her career was stand-up comedy. Doesn't mean that everything she does is stand-up comedy, and she even said that in that special. So, it's just one of those things where it's like you have an opinion, but that doesn't mean it matters. Like.
Well, yeah. I mean, even it's just when you really think about it. Even talking about it at all is
exactly
fucking ridiculous.
Again, what the fuck do I know?
Like, man, let's talk about these guys making millions of dollars on the television. This one who made this many millions said this, and it pissed this group of people off. Yeah. Oh my god!
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Fucking ridiculous.
It's another one of those. That's like your opinion, man, and you're allowed to have it, but I don't have to agree with you.
Yeah, and you don't have the right to stop someone from doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and we also don't have to fight over it either. Like, we don't have to make that the entire purpose of our existence.
When people argue, I always just think about two really like hot button, a hot button issue. There's people on both sides.
Right.
It's like the level of conviction that you have about your belief system and what led you to believe this about this certain thing. The person on the other end, they have that same conviction. So who the fuck are you to think that you can change? Because if you would say, "Well, could they change your mind?" You'd be, no, absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. You can never change my mind. I'm smart. I came up with all this stuff. I've been very perceptive about what's going on around me. Well, they feel the same way.
Right.
Why do you think that your point can be that you can get your point across a lot better than I am right now? Get your point across better than they can. Like, what makes you think you might be right? Their point is bullshit, but you're not going to convince them of that.
Well, and there's exactly. If someone, it's very rare that you have an opinion and someone else has a different one, and then one of you hears the other one's argument and goes, "Oh, you know what? You're right."
Yeah, it never happens.
Very rarely. I personally try to admit when I'm wrong about something or when someone has changed my mind. I'm open enough to possibility.
I think that's important.
That I'm an idiot and I might be wrong. It's actually, I'm probably more open to that possibility than me being right.
I enjoy being wrong, actually.
Well, yeah, you're learning. You can't learn without fucking
I love
up.
when I have those, like, when I come away kind of looking stupid after I, like, was real heated about something, and then someone explains it to me, and I'm like, never thought about it that way.
You just get that, you get like a shift in your brain, and it's just like, and not only does it, I mean, it's humiliating at times. Really, it's humbling. I wouldn't say humiliating, but it's humbling. And but it definitely, you can like feel this shift in your brain where it's just like, oh, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There was another way to look at that.
Right.
You're
exactly.
right.
And then that helps you do that in the future. Instead of getting all heated about something, maybe the next time you remember that moment,
you go, other people could be right.
Yeah.
Remember last time?
Yeah. remember how there are like scientists and millions of people on this earth who are smarter than me? Yeah. They're probably right because they've done their research.
We're in a lot of debt to be right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Someone let them as an 18-year-old child with no parental supervision. I'm quoting
Chase
Mulaney
Bank
now.
is hanging them out to dry right now. So let them be right at least.
Yeah.
They remortgaged their house for that ability to do that.
They took all of Nana's inheritance and put it to fucking
a bachelor's in science.
A BS is what they
bullshit degree.
Bullshit degree. Fuck yeah, dude. I always thought that was hilarious. That like you spend 4 years and you could come out of school with something called a BS. Like
I liked when Kanye still rapped and he said, "They say I got a PhD, a pretty huge dick."
Yeah,
that was good.
Well, I haven't listened to.
Well, I haven't listened to his. No, I haven't.
Dude, people were rapping it hard last night. Like at Helium, they were all over it.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people who are looking for something divisive. I'm not saying it couldn't be good. It doesn't matter that it's like, you know.
Well, yeah, especially because now he's doing the black conservative thing. He's doing the you know.
I feel like he's just about to run for president, and this is all just a ploy to get his get his votes.
He's running as a Republican. You think?
Yeah.
He's gonna go up against Trump. That would be the two fucking most egomaniacal people on earth going against each other as a Republican. Oh, that would be amazing.
And everybody would just play that clip of George Bush hates black people.
Yeah.
That would be their whole smear campaign.
Right.
It'd be like, remember he said that? Remember he said that? He's not one of us.
He's not. Oh, man. Yeah, and, you know, the whole... Well, they did throw Ben Carson out there for a little bit. I was going to say that, like, when's the last time the Republican Party has actually had an African-American candidate or... any sort of person of color. I really see this is how I'm bettering myself, by the way. People can change. 2 years ago, I would have just said black, minority, those words, which are derisive, and they demean people, they belittle people without even intentionally doing it. It's just the way the things those words mean. So you can learn something here too, everybody. You can get better. You can improve yourself.
Why do they call them parties when none of it's fun?
Right? Yeah, good. Nice.
Republican Party. I wouldn't want that invite.
No,
the Democratic Party.
That might be kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
just by definition of the word.
No, like, bro. Green Party.
Green Party.
Invite me to the Green Party.
Like, yeah, but like a Democratic Party would be, you know, everybody's having a good time. We're forming a line at the keg. We're all getting drinks. We're all
there's like giant signs that say like have a circle with a slash through the 1%.
That's a
See, I just feel like if they would have a party, they couldn't just separate themselves from the politics.
Oh well, see, I'm not talking about politics now. I'm just talking about purely the definition of the words.
I'm just thinking of a bunch of people in like suits, like actual like political people, but they're having a party. And it's like the Democratic Party.
Oh well, they do that now. I mean, they're called conventions.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
So what I'm thinking is by definition of the words. So like the Republican Party, a Republican Party, you would have to elect people to go drink the beer and do the dancing and have fun. It'd be really weird. Like you just have a bunch of people sitting on couches, and then they're all like, "I think Billy should lead us in the chicken dance."
And the nomination for the keg tapper will be
Shirley.
She stands up.
Yes, yeah, and like half the party is like really pumped about it. And the other half is just like, God damn it,
should have been me.
That's not who I voted for. Not my keg tapper. Hashtag not my keg tapper. Oh, I don't really have anything else in my head to talk about. Now, as I mentioned before we started, I'm trying to do some video like bonus content. I'll get better at podcasting.
I'm trying to do less drinking before these interviews.
It's actually just coffee buzz, and like no food today. I had like a bowl of chili at my friend's house. So that's really what it's just. I'm amped up and hungry. So anyway, I have asked Jamie if he would maybe like to perform a song.
I'll do a tune.
We'll do a little tune. And I'm going to even let him choose which one. I'm not even going to make a request at this point.
Oh, bummer, because I don't know.
Well, I can make a request, because there is one that I haven't heard for a while, but I don't think I've ever heard you play it acoustic. And that would be Brush Burns.
You gotta tell me which one.
Yeah.
I was trying to do an acoustic version of that song.
Yeah.
And I gave up on it.
Well, it's very. I mean, when you guys play it full band, there's. It sounds kind of simple, but there is a lot going on with it.
It's just the cutting of like certain things need to be cut out for it to make sense acoustically, and that's what I always had trouble with, because that song was a challenge for me to use all the normal chords that everyone uses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so not be a prick and just be like, I'm gonna use just regular G major and an A minor and an E minor.
I'm not gonna tune everything like a half step down and.
I don't do that. I don't really do that, but I don't generally use the your standard chords.
Right.
I don't do anything that fancy either, but
yeah, I was actually, when you guys were playing as a 3-piece for a little while before Matt joined up, I was actually pretty impressed with how much of the guitar was actually you. Like the what sounded like lead guitar, which is what you're playing, is lead guitar. I always thought there was much more. I don't want to say it. Well, I guess much more like collaboration between you and Jeff as for the guitar tracks. But then when he started playing as a 3-piece, it was like, oh, okay. So all those main kind of things that you hear, that's Jamie and Don playing together. And then Jeff was really like,
yeah, we called him the pepper. He
was the seasoning for sure. He was Salt Bay,
ambient sprinkles of seasoning,
and that was a great. And I think Matt does a really good job of that too. So it's
he loves pedals too.
Yeah. The pedal board that fucking Jeff used to show up with was just
heinous,
insane,
heinous. Imagine troubleshooting that when there's a problem.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to play some Sunday worship. He looked like a church player. Because they always have the fucking biggest pedal boards, and then they play
because the parishioners bought that for them.
Right.
That all came from the collection plate.
Yeah.
I got a song about that too. It's called Worship Circles. It's one of our new ones.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So okay, before we get out of here and listen to you play a song, I know I ask you this a lot, and I hate feeling like I'm putting pressure on you, but any progress on the releasing the full length that you guys have been working on it for quite some time, right? I mean,
Yeah, it always takes us a long time.
well,
No, we
and
have.
that's-
I was
that's
just
fine.
we just tracked bass for a song called "Biting Tongues" last night,
Okay.
and all the guitars are done on that. I think we have drums and basic tracks for 5 or 6 right now. The goal is to get 10 and release one as an EP, and then push the other one to all the people that can do things.
Ah, okay, nice. So,
But,
so listeners, you can go check these guys out. Check out my friends. They're called Something Like a Monument. They have 2 EPs out right now. One from 2013, I'm sorry, called "And the Crowd Goes Mild," and then one from 2017 called "Silhouettes." They're both very good, very, very interesting and progressive music for sure. And actually, before we go, the band is called Something Like a Monument, which is a reference
from a King Crimson song called "Dinosaur." It's one of my favorite songs. And so it's a lot less pompous than it sounds.
Well, and they're King Crimson.
They're amazing. If you don't want to listen to us, that's fine. But do yourself a favor and listen to Crimson, because they were one of the most amazing bands to ever do it.
And they're a huge influence on you guys.
Incredible.
And how
influence.
how you write music and everything like that, and the music you try to put out there, along with many other bands. You guys have a lot of influences, I know. We won't get into all of that because I'm sure that list could go on forever.
Yeah, it's too long.
There's too many. It's the same with me in comedy, and even with like my musical taste or taste in TV shows, anything like that. At this point in time, there's so much shit out there. It's impossible to take it all in and to list down everything that you've seen or heard that has made an influence on you. So, now for your listening pleasure, this is Jamie Szymanski performing "Ignore the Breeze."
Blinders on, a ghost in the room. It's all dust where love once bloomed, but I won't ignore the breeze. It's not judgment that beckons me. You're just the same as I used to be, but I won't. not what I'm cut out for. It's not what I'm cut out for. Ooh, it's not what I'm cut out for.
You can check out Something Like a Monument. They are on Spotify. They are on Bandcamp as well. You guys have a website too, right?
It's down right now. Like not down. We're not experiencing technical difficulties.
Too much traffic.
We pulled it down because we're doing a lot of new stuff now. So there's going to probably eventually be a new website with new. We'll have some. We just did a photo shoot. We'll just have some of that stuff coming out. So it didn't make sense for us to keep that going at the present moment.
All right, man. Well, thank you for hanging out with me, for interacting, for being a fellow human being, for being a friend.
That's what you should play the "Thank you for being a friend."
Yeah.
You should play that as the
outro.
Yeah.
I have
right after that. Cut all this shit out, but just right after you. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being.
We'll see how it goes. I have been struggling to find some outro music, to be honest.
You should do a different one every time.
I was thinking about doing that too. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
But again, thanks for being a friend.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening. This has been Human Interaction. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton, and I will see you next time.